Good evening, everyone. Titus here for a bonus section where I introduce the Crease tool in Blender using our Flashbang model as a demonstration. This section is optional and will give you an alternative look to the handle piece we finished in the previous video. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Alright, go ahead and stop my camera view here. Now, what we'll need to do is restore the handle piece and the text accent from the previous video. So basically before the join. So you should be able to grab the text accent and move it off. If for some reason you didn't create a backup folder, or that's just not possible, you can still follow along. It's just that when I get to the section where I'm going to use a mirror modifier, you'd have to skip that, and you'd have to double your work by doing it on the other side. And you wouldn't be able to subsurf to a higher degree because it's going to wash out your text unless you also use the crease tool around the text accent as well, which would get pretty tedious. But alright, let's go ahead and I'll demonstrate this here. We'll hide the text. And let me actually go back to the Studio Matte Cap. Okay, so you guys, if you've messed around in Blender at all, you probably at some point created a interesting shape like this, something non-uniform and different. You'll find that when you add a subsurf modifier, actually go into modifiers here, and let me apply my boolean, and we'll go to the mirror real quick. But if you try to add a subsurf right here, you'll find that a lot of your detail gets washed out. So say we did 2 levels. It's kind of there, but you can see the circles get messed up. Like everything's just kind of like not kind of useful. So using the crease tool, we can actually tell Blender which parts of the shape we want to kind of keep, and then let it add a subsurf to everything else. Actually, in the advanced section here under the subsurf settings, there is a option to use creases. So that's kind of what's doing this here. But before we do that, let's press N, and let's actually bring back my text as well. We have non-uniform location and scale, so we can just press Control A, all transforms on this guy. On this piece, we'll do Control A, all transforms, and zeroes it out, just before I forget. Alright, so we got to do this in edit mode, so we'll tab into edit mode here, and we got to go in edge selection. And then basically all you really want to do is just pick an edge flow. And I don't want to do this across the whole thing, so to make it easier, let's delete half our shape. So we'll go into X-ray with Alt-Z. I'll go to face select, and I'm going to select half the shape there, press X, delete faces, come out of X-ray, and then I'm going to swing around and make sure I didn't miss anything. And it looks like I did. I'm going to hide this subsurf real quick. And I'm just going to get these extra faces here. And looks like I missed a lot of these faces. So I can press Control and grow the selection that way. Press X, delete faces. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now you basically cut the mesh in half. Now if we tab out, we can add a mirror modifier. Let's drag the mirror modifier to the top of the stack. Mirrors should typically be first anyways, for most modeling anyways. And then under the properties, we'll flip it in the Y, and then we'll enable clipping. And then we'll do a quick glance, and looks okay. So let's go ahead and go back into edit mode. So now we only have one half of the shape to deal with. So when I do creases, what I like to do is just start kind of with one edge flow and go around the shape how I want it. And then I'll just add the crease and then kind of see how it goes. Because if we add the viewport or the subsurf to the viewport, you can see it's very skinny, which is maybe the look you're going for, but the whole shape is kind of washed out. So Let's start with this bottom edge loop. And we just press Control and just kind of grow it as we come around. And I'm going to try to stay towards the bottom. Now, oops, actually we did there. Let's actually come from the top, thinking about it. So we'll come from the top here and grow it this way. Select around. We'll probably end up doing both the top and bottom, but it also depends a lot on the look you're going for, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright, I'm just holding Control and just going around these edges and growing the selection. Oops. See, I messed up there, so we'll shift and deselect those. And now, once you have like any type of selection, you can even do this in like batching. You press N to bring up your items, and there's a mean crease section. So you just drag that to 1, and then it kind of highlights in red where you made your crease. And then we can continue to grow our selection. Like so, and then we'll add the crease. Now when we come back and we look at it, the crease looks good. Let's tab back into object mode, and we should notice a slight difference here. So now if I enable my subsurf, you can see it's a little bit thicker on the bottom here, and it maintains the shape a little bit better here. You don't notice it as much with this guy because we haven't done the other side either. But we'll keep going, and it'll especially be apparent when we do this guy here. But this side, I don't really care for this flange. We can do a Control R and do a, oops, actually let's go ahead and select this guy, dissolve that edge, and then Control R, this guy, oops, actually hang on. Let me Control Z that. Let's hide this so we can see what we're doing. There we go. And I'm going to drag this forward. And then I can GG, and you can kind of see if I edge slide, it's just like a little support loop here. That way it looks a little bit better on that corner there. Alright, let's go back here and we'll hide our subsurf. So if we press Alt and we edge select here, we can give it a mean crease. And Alt, and then left click, give that a mean crease. Alt, click this, give that a mean crease. And now, if we add our subsurf, you can see it's keeping its shape a little bit better there. We're still washed out at the bottom though, so let's tab back into edit. We'll hide our subsurf. And I think if we do this guy here, and this guy, we'll do a mean crease. Let's turn that on. Yeah, looks a little better. You got a little bit of pinching right there. So let's try and extend that crease out. That looks a lot better. Now, like I said, depending on what the look you're going for, this might be too thin, or it may be perfect, which honestly doesn't look bad. I know the other one that we modeled in the previous video was very blocky, so if this is more the style you're looking for, this is the way to do it. Let's fix these our holes here real quick. So let's tab back into edit, hide our subsurf. The reason you have that weird kind of view here is for two reasons. Mainly we haven't triangulated very well, but also because we haven't creased the inner and outer diameter of the circle. So what you can do, normally it's good for you to kind of connect all the vertices, but if, and I've kind of showed you other ways to do that before as well, where you can actually add a modifier stack for triangulate, this guy right here, or you can manually connect them as well, but if you're in a hurry to, you don't always have to do all of them. What I like to do is just make sure that you have perpendicular edge flow. So like if I was to do like a circle, I'd probably do the top, right, down, and left. I try to create it, the line in such a way where if I were to scale the circle, like this line's at an angle, so it might cross over a different vertices, so you might get some weird shading. So if you do perpendicular lines, it kind of works a little bit better. We can add lines by using K for our knife tool. We can select on an actual vertex point, and then I'm going to drag it up, cut into that line there, and then press enter to confirm the selection. And then the same thing with this guy, I'm going to press K, select on the point, and then just try to get it kind of perpendicular there, enter to select. Now there's already a point here, so I can actually just select that, shift select this guy here, press J to join, and then I can get rid of this edge flow here, dissolve the edge, and then we kind of have more of this little like grid type look here. We'll need to do this on the back side as well. So come back over here, it's going to be just more of the same. Press K for knife tool. Oops, actually I need to be able to see the top though. There we go. K for knife tool, cut into there, and into there, enter. And then this guy, we'll press K, knife tool, cut into there. And then this one we can just select right over here, shift, and then J to join it. We can go to our edge select, X, dissolve this edge, so we have a nice little plus sign here. So now, and it doesn't have to be like perfect, and ideally you'd want to connect everything, but this should basically allow us to get away with it. So let's add this on here, and you can see the circle actually maintains a lot better now. So the last thing to do is just select these edge loops. So we can do Alt, it'll select the flow. You can hold Shift and Alt and grow the selection to get the entirety of the outside as well as the inside of the circle. Kind of like that. So now if we pull back, look around, our selection looks good. So now if I press N, if we add a mean crease, you'll notice it's pretty close to perfect, but not bad. And the mirror is taking care of the other part there. And I'm actually pretty happy with the way this look. If I was going for I think for the final model, I'll probably stick with the block or the blockier look. Maybe I'll switch to this one. But if this was too skinny or you wanted to thicken it up a bit, all you have to do is just kind of do a lot more of the same. So we did the top edge flow. So now we can do the bottom and get the same effect, but a little bit thicker. So let's hide our subsurf. And actually, I am going to, before I forget, I'm going to get that inside piece there. I'll give that a mean crease. And then I'm also going to do that over here. Give that a mean crease. And then I will just grow the selection. Just like that. Mean crease. And then press Control, grow the selection. A little tedious, but it does the trick. All right, so now we get to this point here. You select in there, and you can see we follow along this path and just continue along down. right there, mean crease. And that looks pretty good. Let's tab out, add in our subsurf. Let's see how handles are shading. You can see it's a little bit thicker. Edges, very smooth. And just maybe that's the look you're going for. Yeah. That's just a way to add a little bit of geo, and if we go to our subsurf, I think we're at 2. Bump to 3, does that look any different? I can never really tell. Maybe? No, not really. I don't see it anyways, so probably leave it at 2. But yeah, so what we can do then, if you're happy with it, whether you go with the skinnier look or the medium look, or if you leave it at our original blocky look, whatever you're going for, kind of, you know, it's just whatever your art style is. You can apply your modifier stack, and then you'll notice your geo is going to be a lot heavier. But once you've done that, you can bring back your text, and just like we did before, select your text first, and then shift select your handle second, Control J, joins it into one piece, and then you're looking pretty good. Alright people, that's going to be it for this little bonus tutorial on the Crease tool in Blender. I hope you found it informative value in this topic that you can take into your own projects, but as always, thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.